.com, .net, and .org, which is best for your website. Well, that's quite a really difficult choice, especially when the one we desire, the domain we desire, the domain extension we desire isn't available. Like if you want a .com, it isn't available, and then you switch to go to another option. You're checking which is better between the .net, .org, or .co, anyone. So in this video, that wouldn't be a problem for me. I will guide you which domain extension is best for your website or business, and which to choose if the other isn't available, or if the main.com domain extension isn't available for your website. So we start right after the intro. When we newly launch a website, when we launch a new website, the first thing we always have in mind is grabbing a domain name. So what is this domain name? A domain name is simply a location, maybe an address where your web pages or your web content will be located. Now, when it comes to choosing a domain, we've had an idea for a domain. Now we're really checking and tweaking on an idea for the domain extension. The domain extension is simply what we call the .com, .org, or .net, or .co, or any other personalized extension you might choose. So now, when it comes to choosing a domain extension, the first we have in mind is the .com extension, which is frequently the most used over the internet. So what to do if this .com isn't available? What you do is you're gonna opt out for some other domains, and most of times for a personalized domain extension. So now, why do we recommend the .com extension? Because that's the extension which is most used over the web. Over 50% of sites on the internet use the .com extension, which makes it widely known by users. Let's say, for example, you have your customers or your buyers, and you have a website hosted on the .com. What they'll do is they'll go and type the website address and attach the .com extension, because they know and they believe that most often every website carries a .com extension. So a .com is always the best you can run in for, whether you are running a business or you're running a blog or any other thing, or a network. You can just go in for a domain. So let's say, for example, I'm opening a domain provider. So this is a non-domain provider, which is Namecheap, and it registers a huge number of domains daily on the web. So let's search for a domain. Let's say Alltech Free. Okay, so it's loading a different domain with extensions. Okay, you can see Alltech Free. When I search for Alltech Free, you can see it is available at alltechfree.com. Alltechfree.com is available. So what is here is the first thing you're going to have in mind is to grab this domain, and you can see allocated to it, you can see premium. So this is the best option you can go for, and most of the time you can see it's always expensive. You see here it is $280, but when you come out for the other choices, right down here you can see .net, and attached to it you see special, and then the price is $10 US. So, and then you go down and you can see .org, which is here. So what I love with this Namecheap is the group domain based on the domain level. So we have TLD and LLD. The TLD are the top level domains, and which are the ones grouped in this first section right here. the most known TLD domains, you have the .com, .net, and .org extensions, domain extensions. So now let's say you come to grab this domain name and it isn't available. So the next, what you get in mind is, what will be passing through your mind is, if this domain.com isn't available, which other option should I go in for? Should I go in for a .org or should I go in for a .net? Well, that is going to depend on your objective, on the objective of which your website is going to cover. It is really important you note that the .com, it is the extension of about 50% of websites over the internet. So people always go in, if someone wants to search for your website and he sees an option with the .com, he's going to click on that. He will likely click on that firstly. And also, most questions that are usually asked is, does the .com domain impact the ranking on search results? Well, that's a yes. I can say it's a yes, because when you search for something or a website on the internet, the first thing you're gonna see is, if a .com is already taken, that's what you're gonna see ranking first. But when it comes, if you take a .net and then your competitor has a .com, and let's say your SEO tactics are higher than his, then yours is gonna likely be shown before his. So all those depends on the SEO, though the .com is a preferred extension by Google. When to choose the .org domain? First, you need to know that the .org extension is for charity or non-profit website. This .org extension .org stands for organization, and is a primary choice for charity or non-profit websites. This extension is one of the original, which was established in the year 1985. So it's around a real number of decades right now, and it was created anything that wasn't commercial. That is to say, something that you can't monetize, or let me say a non-profit entity, because it's a sign of integrity for website purpose. However, the restrictions were removed in 2019. These restrictions that couldn't permit this .org to make profit was removed in the year 2019, and after the registry changed ownership, allowing for profit companies to use this extension. So you can using this extension correctly, you can get a great advancement socially, because people are more likely to trust a .org if a .com isn't available. So you must know, most visitors or clients see a .org extension as a strict domain for professional serving. That's really obvious. And if you choose to use a .org, however, I recommend you to brand your company with the .org tied directly to your name. So if you are going for a .org extension and then you have your brand, you will more likely to attach that .org to your brand, especially in your logo, in your attachments, or any place where there's a domain signature. You attach the .org to your name, so your visitors will directly be who your visitors will, or your clients can directly access your website from, or maybe even watching the logo or seeing the logo, something like that, some stuff like that. So if you choose to use the domain, we recommend you to brand your company with the .org tied directly to your name. Attaching a .org extension to your brand directs people to your true website. So if you attach your .com to their .org to your domain, which is already taken under the .com extension, so attaching that .org is going to redirect people to your .org. So people will know when they visit your website .org, they will know this is your website, rather than going to your website .com mistakenly. So it's good you direct your customers or your visitors. And now, when to use a .net domain extension. The extension is popular. It's really popular option that is often recommended to buyers whenever the desired domain.com extension is taken. So this .net simply stands for Network Annuals, and it originally is somehow an umbrella site for other smaller sites that serves other smaller sites beneath it, such as web hosting services that serve other sites under them. So if the .com name you want is already taken by someone else, then it will be really important for you to check out if the current owner of that domain, of that .com extension of the domain, is in the same industry before grabbing the .net. So this is a really important point you should highlight. That's also because you don't want your customers becoming their own customers. That would be really weird. It is a kind of frustrating. You wouldn't want your customers to be that of your competitor. So in general, the .net extension is trusted and perceived as authoritative. So most of us, when we navigate the internet, we see .net, we see it somehow authoritative. We see the website somehow authoritative, and it's also been around enough a good while now, and most often we easily remember it. We easily remember the .net extension. However, I'll come to say at the end of this, when your desired .com domain name is chosen, what you go in for next, or the best strong option, is the .net extension. And now let's see, are the specialty domains? This is a question which is most often asked. Are special domain names recommended as an alternative for this best to read top TLD domains? Well, it can be a big yes and somehow a big no. Why so? So what is a personalized or a special name? A special name is the domain extension you designed for your website or you choose. So it can be a .co, .me, or any other thing, in fact anything else which you choose for your website. So this is really going to have a great impact over your website if you don't know some SEO tactics. It's good when you're choosing this kind of domain extension, you know more of SEO. If not, I wouldn't advise you to do that. Even if you're an industry owner or you can go on with it, but it wouldn't be a best option. You better go in for another domain name. That wouldn't be a best option if you don't know SEO tactics, because SEO will be really important in that case. Okay, is .co a better choice, a better alternative over .com? Also, most often when you go to grab .com, you see it's already taken, and you see .net here, .org, and the other top level domains which are available, but you want something similar to .com. So what you do is you come and grab a .co. So that if you're grabbing this domain I'll take free, you're gonna come and grab .co. What I have to tell you is this .co isn't that recommended. Why? Because it is a fake clone of this .com. If you choose .co and then this alltech.com is already taken and ranks very well, then your .co would hardly see ranking before this domain. So it's the best option. It's a best advice I can give you. If a .com isn't available, what you do next is you get in for a .net or for a .org or any other top level domain recommended by the domain provider right here. So that's a really important choice, important decision you take over your website. To conclude this, after the .com, which is the recommended domain you should always take in all cases, because it covers it covers everything you can choose to do with your website, whether it's a legal website, a blog, a commercial website, anyone, it just matches directly with it all. It covers everything. If this .com isn't available, the second strong option we recommend to you is the .net, especially if you're doing blogging, is .net. And now the Alltech Free is also recommended for industries who want to register a .com and their .com isn't available, so they go in for a .org. Also, they can go in for a .free or .net, which is also a good option, but most often they are likely to go in for .org because it's somehow organization and represents company brand. So now, to conclude, we say I have spotted 5 points of which a domain should have in order to succeed in the internet. What a domain should have is, it should be 1. Memorable, 2. Short, 3. SEO friendly, 4. Typeable, and 5. On brand. These are the 5 points I've highlighted. So there's another thing people always ask themselves, and most of the time you see some domain trending for a while and you always like to go in for that domain extension. Let's say bit.ly or about.me. Those are domains that trended in the past years and now they don't trend anymore. So if you want to register a domain and you find those domains trending out there on the web and you say let you go in for it, because why? Because it is trending at the same time, that's why you want to go in for it. So that would be a really bad idea, because look at, for now the domains aren't trending anymore, and now most websites register with those domains, they don't rank that easily as they used to do before. So trending domain that trend for a while aren't a good option for you. As we said, the 5 points I highlighted at the end are: 1. A domain should be memorable. For a good quality domain, the domain should be easily memorable, especially when you have customers and visitors that will always like to return to your website. It should be short. 2. SEO friendly. 3. 4. Typeable, and 5. On brand. So for your visitors to come back, your domain should have this extension, or for someone to easily come back to your website, a returning visitor is good. This domain has these 5 qualities. So as we said earlier, we highlighted the points of .com, which is the best option for a domain. .net is the second strong option for your website, and .org, which also comes as the third by our ranking. So it's good you note all these points, you get in mind all these points before grabbing your domain, and make sure your domain should be located in the TLD section. That's a top level domain section. Don't go in for the low level domains, they are not that recommended if you don't have SEO tactic, or if you're not good in webmaster tools. It wouldn't be a good idea for you to go into these low level domains. So I beg of you to register your website or your company's address carrying a .com, .net, or .org extension most often. So guys, this is a brief tutorial on which domain is best for your website between these 3 and another alternative you can have if one or the other isn't available. So share, like, and subscribe to this channel for more contents like this.